What's up, Falcons Nation, Cavs Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you guys with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about my predictions for today's NFC Championship game and also today's AFC Championship game. I also in this video want to talk a little bit of Cavs NBA basketball as well. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons, Cavs content, or just content in general. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for continuing to tune into the channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so definitely continue to hit that subscribe button for your boy. But with that being said, first let's jump right into my NFC and AFC Championship predictions. First, we're going to start with the NFC Championship game, which should kick off at around 3:05. It will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. In this game, I actually have the Green Bay Packers going to the Super Bowl. I do think that Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and those guys, Allen Lazard, Tanyan, the tight end for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones, and Williams carrying the ball out of the backfield for the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be a little bit too much for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on their home field. These two teams did match up earlier in the season. It was in Tampa Bay or in Tampa, Florida. And Tampa ended up winning that game and pretty much dominating the Green Bay Packers. It was the worst game that the Green Bay Packers have played all season. They basically got dominated. Aaron Rodgers, I believe, threw 2 interceptions in that game, and it was his worst game of the season. But since then, the Packers have gotten healthy on their defense. They proved last week. I thought they were going to lose to the LA Rams last weekend in the divisional round, and they proved me wrong. They have become a more physical team compared to last year when they got dominated in the NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. They are better in their trenches. Their offensive line has protected Aaron Rodgers all season. Green Bay arguably has the best offensive line in the NFL. And they're able to do everything. They're multifaceted. They can run the ball with Aaron Jones and Williams out of the backfield. And also the kid Dillon out of Boston College is also another running back that they have who got injured last game. So they really have a 3-headed monster out of the backfield. And we all know how lethal Aaron Rodgers, that bad man that Stephen A. Smith calls him, the bad man that he is. We all know that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, an all-time quarterback, can make all of the throws, moving in and out of the pocket. He can also scramble. So I really think in this game, I give the Green Bay Packers the upper hand. I do believe that they have the better coaching as well with Matt LaFleur. You guys know how much I revere Matt LaFleur. You guys know how much respect I have for that guy. He's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. Former Atlanta Falcons quarterbacks coach. So Matt LaFleur has done a great job since he's taken over as the Green Bay Packers head coach. Green Bay actually has went 13-3, 2 seasons in a row in Matt LaFleur's first 2 seasons. I believe Matt LaFleur has like one of the best records as a head coach starting out in the first 2 years. And Aaron Rodgers is playing at an MVP level. I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to win the NFL MVP this season, and it's well-deserved. He's had a great season. I think he's thrown over 40-plus touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions, which is pretty much unheard of nowadays, being that it is a passing league. You're usually bound to make mistakes, but Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys that throws the ball with extreme accuracy, and he's one of the smartest players in the NFL. I do expect him in this game to get the Buccaneers to jump off sides and him to try to take advantage of that by throwing the ball down the field. But it's I really think that in this game, Green Bay is going to really have their way with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary is very young, and I don't think anybody on their secondary can cover Devontae Adams one-on-one. He's one of the best receivers at running routes. And him and Aaron Rodgers are probably one of the best 1-2 punches other than Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. they're like one of the best 1-2 punches in the game with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Those guys have been playing together for over 5 to 6 years, and they have great chemistry together. I believe Devontae Adams had like 15 to 17 touchdowns this season, which is crazy. He's balled out pretty much all season, and that's not counting he missed like 2 games this season with injury. So I really think that Aaron Rodgers and that in that offense are going to really dominate. Another guy on this team that's being overlooked is Alan Lazard, the wide receiver. This guy's like 6'5", and he's really fast. They also have Valdez Scantling. Both of these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Both of these guys are really tall, and fast, athletic. And I don't believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the secondary that can keep up with these guys. Tampa Bay has one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. The only guy on that secondary that I really fear or have respect for is Antoine Winfield Jr., the rookie, son of Antoine Winfield, former NFL cornerback. He's pretty much, to me, the best guy in that secondary. He's a very smart player and can force turnovers, as he forced a fumble against Jared Cook last week of the Saints. And I also have respect for their starting Carlton Davis, their number 1 corner. He's pretty solid. But Jamel Dean, he's still really young. Both of those guys actually played at the University of Auburn, both Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. I do think that Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean are pretty solid, but they're still really young cornerbacks, and they can be had on double moves. And I really don't think they're going to be able to cover those wide receivers of the Green Bay Packers. Also, the tight end, Tanyan for the Green Bay Packers, pretty much came out of nowhere, kind of like a poor man's Kittle that plays with the 49ers. That's who Tanyan reminds me of. He's a big, strong tight end and can run pretty much any route. And the Buccaneers, their linebackers are going to have their hands full with trying to cover Tanyan. And if they try to put a safety on him, he's too big to be covered by those smaller safeties that play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, also, I believe that the Green Bay Packers defense is really being overlooked as well. They have some guys up front on that defensive line and in that front 7 that can get after Tom Brady, I believe, between Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, the 2 outside linebackers. Also, they have Rashawn Gary, another guy who they drafted a couple years ago out of Michigan, who was actually hurt last year when they played in the NFC Championship game. Those guys are back. And they also have a solid defensive tackle. He wears the number 97, just like Grady Jarrett. I forget the guy's name, but he's a pretty solid defensive tackle as well. He was another guy that was actually injured last year during the NFC Championship game. So they're really at full strength this year. And Green Bay has one of the best secondaries with Jair Alexander, who's one of the best young corners in the game. And also the 2 safeties that they have. Adrian Amos is a veteran guy who's a hard-hitting safety, played a lot of seasons with the Chicago Bears. And a young kid, Denard Savage, or Denard, I believe his name is, or Darrell Savage. That guy is really solid as well. They're free safeties. So they do have 2 opportunistic safeties, 2 guys that can make plays on the football. And then at that other corner spot, Kevin King is a young corner out of Washington. He's another guy that's really overlooked, but he's a solid corner at that number 2 corner position. So I really think that the Buccaneers are going to struggle in this game due to the pressure, I believe, that Zadarius Smith and that defensive line is going to be able to put on Tom Brady. I really think that Tom Brady can get sacked multiple times in this game. He's going to have to get the ball out fast, but I really think that they're going to struggle, being that Antonio Brown is not going to be able to play in this game. Now, I'm not too sure of a score. I'm just going to say that Green Bay wins the game. I do think that Green Bay probably puts up like anywhere from 30 to 35 points in this game, and I think the Buccaneers will probably score like about 24 points. So I'll say the final score is probably 38-24 Green Bay. In the AFC Championship matchup, which is going to kick off around 6:40 Eastern time, I believe, it'll be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. The Kansas City Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champions, and I expect them to defend their title tonight and move on to their second straight Super Bowl. You guys know how much I have so much respect for a guy like Andy Reid and for Eric Bieniemy and that staff that they have, Steve Spagnuolo. They have a great coaching staff there in Kansas City, and they have arguably the best offense in the game, hands down. Pat Mahomes is coming back from a concussion that he had in last weekend's divisional matchup against the Cleveland Browns, and I expect him to come out with a vengeance. I do think that they're going to put up a lot of points in this game. I have a lot of respect for the secondary of the Buffalo Bills with the two safeties that they have, Poyer and Micah Hyde. Those guys are really good, a good tandem safeties, arguably a top 3 tandem safeties in the game. And the kid White, Tre'Davious White at the corner position for the Bills, and Josh Norman, those guys are playing with their hair on fire out there. But I just think that the Kansas City Chiefs have too many weapons. Pat Mahomes, has Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, who's a mismatch problem. Nobody can cover him one-on-one. What's the other kid that they have? Watkins. They have so many weapons over there. Mecole Hardman. They just have so many weapons over there with the Chiefs that I really think that in this game, it's going to be too much to handle for the Buffalo Bills. I do think that the Buffalo Bills can keep the game close, but I believe eventually the Chiefs are going to have too much offense for them because the Chiefs are a team that plays a balanced style offense. They can throw the ball and run the ball, and the Bills haven't shown me that they can run the ball consistently so far this season. So I really don't think that the kid Singletary, they like to throw the ball to him out the backfield, but to me, their offense is kind of predictable. The nuclear weapon that the Buffalo Bills have is Stephon Diggs, who's at the top of his game right now. Him and Josh Allen are playing very well. The only way I see the Bills winning this game is if Josh Allen rushed for like 100 yards. If Josh Allen can run the ball and extend drives with his legs, which he's very capable of doing that, I could see them beating the Chiefs if Josh Allen has a big game running and throwing. But if they force him to stay in the pocket and throw the ball down the field, I'm not too sure that the Buffalo Bills can get into that type of scoring match or barn burner type game with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's pretty much the game that the Kansas City Chiefs want to force them into. And so far in the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills haven't run the football well. They've been kind of a one-dimensional offense, throwing the ball all over the field and kind of using Josh Allen's legs throughout the playoffs. But I think that Frank the Shark Clark, the defensive end for the Chiefs, is going to be too much. Him and in the middle, Chris Jones, the big number 95 for the Chiefs. Those guys are very stout up front. The Honey Badger, you usually see him all over the field. Tyrann Mathieu, the safety for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a lot of playmakers on that side of the ball. The guy Sorensen, who's their strong safety, or I believe the strong safety. He's another guy that is a playmaker, like an unsung hero. He's not a guy that his name, he doesn't get a lot of credit in the press. But if you watch his game, he's like a Swiss Army knife for the Chiefs. He's always making plays. He was the guy that forced the fumble at the goal line last week against the Browns at the 1 yard line. So that guy Sorensen seems to always be around the football and cause some type of turnover. And I really think the Chiefs are going to have too much in this game for the Buffalo Bills. I do think that Josh Allen has had a great season, and I wouldn't mind seeing them go to the Super Bowl. But I really think that the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be too much for the young Buffalo Bills to handle. I do have a ton of respect as well for Sean McDermott, the head coach who actually coached on Andy Reid's coaching staff. He actually comes for the Andy Reid tree. He's a defensive-minded coach. I think he's done an excellent job of rebuilding that franchise over there with the Buffalo Bills. They were one of the best teams in the 90s. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4 back in the days of Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith and those guys. So I do think that Sean McDermott has done a great job. Him and Leslie Frazier, who's their defensive coordinator, those guys have done an excellent job with that young Buffalo Bills team. And I do think that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with going forward in the future. But in this game, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to get back to the Super Bowl. So I believe it's going to be a Kansas City Chiefs Green Bay Packer matchup in this Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks. But we'll see what happens today. You guys let me know what you think about these games, who you have winning. I'll say this game between the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills will come down to the Chiefs will score 35 and the Bills will score 21. So I think it'll be 35-21 Chiefs over the Bills. And Pat Mahomes will go back to a second Super Bowl and try to defend their Super Bowl crown. Now, to kind of transition, I also want to just talk quickly about some Cleveland Cavalier basketball. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but Colin Sexton, I told you guys that he's one of the NBA's best kept secrets. I do think that Colin Sexton should be an NBA All-Star this year. I think he should make the All-Star team. This dude is playing outside of his mind right now. They just beat the Brooklyn Nets 2 games in a row. We beat them on Wednesday night and we beat them last night or on Friday night, excuse me. And Colin Sexton had a big game in both games to lead the Cavaliers to the win. But the guys that came over in that trade, Taurean Prince played very well, and Jared Allen played very well. The first 2 games with the team, them going up against their former team, the Brooklyn Nets, they were kind of like the thorn in those guys' side. But Colin Sexton and this Cleveland Cavalier team is really growing up right before our eyes. I do believe my Cleveland Cavaliers will make the playoffs this year. Just watching how deep this team is, it reminds me of the days of the first Golden State's team when they had Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and then they had all those guys on the bench like Iguodala and Leandro Barbosa and David Lee. They had all of those guys, and they could go like 10 deep. I really think that this Cavaliers team, I'm not saying that we're the Golden State Warriors, but we're pretty dang close. Like, this team is really solid. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. But as always, Falcons Nations, Cavs Nations, rise up. Peace.